Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have, I think, a popular topic in recruitment right now. We're going to talk about the differences between relationship-based selling and transactional sales.
So Matt, how would you define relationship selling?
So I think this is it's kind of a hot buzzword right now in sales and recruitment. And you know, a relationship-based sale should be kind of a longer-term project where you develop a relationship with the prospect over time, to the point where you are their first port of call. You're the go-to person for whatever service you're selling. And you know, you're the number one person in that space, right? But that can take a long time.
How long? How long do you think?
I mean, if you're really charismatic, like
Us? Yeah,
like us, then
a day.
a day,
An hour.
In all seriousness, that can take 6 months to a year sometimes. You know, where you make the initial contact, you maybe have a meeting with the prospect, you follow up, you start to find a little bit about their hobbies and background, and they trust you a bit, and you make the first deal, and then you eventually get to the holy ground where all the sales come to you.
So, like, I'm wondering, right? Like, in terms of prospect, you're clearly talking about a TA, right?
No.
No?
No.
No. Who are you talking about?
Talking about, you know, C-level, basically, owner,
right.
president, CEO level contact. And that's the ultimate goal for any relationship-based sale.
I understand. I thought you were supposed to like send CVs through a portal and maybe hear back after a couple of months.
Well, that brings us neatly to the opposite end of the scale, which is a kind of transactional sale. So how would you describe what that is?
Transactional sales is actually you don't know who you're selling to, you don't know who's on the other side of the deal, basically. I think the most common example would be a portal, right, where you actually cannot screen and qualify the job, and also you don't know who's going to read the CV and how long it's going to take for them to get back to you, basically. So why do you think it's important actually to transition from one type of sales to the other?
Because there's a lot of talk, especially on LinkedIn, around relationship-based selling, right? And it is the ultimate goal. But I actually think there needs to be a little bit of a balance, especially when you first start your career. You should always be, especially with good clients, aiming to develop the relationship to the point where you're the number one person. But I don't think you should completely ignore
The portals.
Yeah, the quick wins, the portals, the ones where the client has a need, but maybe you don't have a relationship, because you still need to have some volume to make the placements, to make some money, whilst you're spending the time developing those big accounts.
Yeah. Why is it better to work with the CEO or a hiring manager rather than like a TA or a portal?
Well, it goes back to the old classic that I think in any sales, they are the decision maker. And if you're dealing with the decision maker, you can influence the decision. If you're not dealing with the decision maker, then you are speaking to somebody who's got to sell on your behalf. And then, you know, if you're a good salesman, you should be thinking, well, nobody's going to sell this as well as I am. You're probably right?
How?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not a magic answer. I mean, you know what? I think the first most important thing is, and we have this rule within Cornerstone, is when you are prospecting a client, you should have a list of many people that work for the company.
Yeah.
Where do we start? No matter what level in our business, we tell our guys you start at the top. You work your way down in terms of order of importance. It's very, very important to do that. Don't be afraid, even in your first few months, to call the CEO, because sometimes, you know, you strike a relationship quite quickly, and a lot of people don't dare call them, so they don't get that many calls.
I think the most important thing is to try, and you know, as you said, you know, like start from the top and work your way down. I think if you start the relationship with HR and TA, it's extremely difficult to work your way up, because it's one of the primary roles to protect the business from
people like us.
From people like us, right? You know? So
I think in summary for us, the goal should be always that level of develop the relationship to the point where you can really make an impact. And this is not to say you can't develop a relationship with HR and talent acquisition. You can.
You should, actually. I think you should.
Some good relationships. But the ultimate goal is to make the really good relationship with the decision maker so you can have the most impact. And honestly, I will say this, when you first start, even job portals,
they're fine.
You know, if you're not spending too much time, you can send some CVs, you can still make a little bit of money
Yeah.
whilst you're developing the really juicy stuff. So I think strike a balance
Yeah.
is the goal. Always start from the top and don't be afraid to call a CEO.